I mentor several brides. I have what's called the Bridehood Academy, where we teach women how to be biblical wives. What the vows did not say. What's underneath the veil? Because I've noticed that the enemy is really tricking women, kingdom women, out of marriage. We are being so deceived out of our marriages. And I'm like, listen, not today, devil. We are about to nip this in the bud, and we are about to see what this guy have to say about what I really want to say. But I don't have the community or the safety or whatever it is where you can't be honest about where you at. This is a channel right here. It's where we be honest about where we are. And I just want to talk about this today. What if I hate being a wife? Because some of us got married and we was told a certain thing, shown a certain thing. We watched Disney TV. We watched Disney. We, heard certain things. We had rumors, and we saved ourselves. Some of us did, I didn't. And we got married and it was a rude awakening. And so here's a story. I got married to my beautiful husband March 17th, 2019 on St. Patrick's Day. One of the most beautiful days of my life. One of the most beautiful days of my life, bro. And it was just going great. And then I woke up 3 months later and was like, bro, somebody done lied to me. I woke up like, time out. Somebody that they didn't tell me this right here was gonna be happening. Like I didn't know. I didn't know I was gonna have to clean up after this grown man. I didn't know that I was gonna have to actually give up my singleness. I didn't know what it would come with. And a lot of that came not from my husband, it came from me. I secretly and deep down, I literally idolized my singleness. I didn't realize how much of my singleness meant to me. And I was so excited to get married and I had this amazing husband, but I was not ready to be nobody's wife. I was not ready to lay my life down for my children. I was not ready to give up my freedom. I was not ready. And I felt like, bro, this sucks. I remember calling my friends, y'all. I said, listen, bro, like, can I get a refund on my can I get a refund on this marriage? Because y'all lied. And they were like, what? I'm like, yes. I feel lied to. I feel bamboozled. I feel tricked. Because this is not that. This is not what I thought it was going to be. A lot of times we spend all of our time focused on the wedding, not the marriage. We don't focus on the daily dying to yourself. The counting all joy when suffering come, when family drama breaks out, when bills are crazy, when husband acting crazy. We don't look at that. We don't deal with that. And that thing come back. It come back and it catch you slipping. And so if you are a bride and you can find yourself really regretting being married, you like, I hate being a wife, bro. I can't stand being a wife. Like, I know I love Jesus. I know I love this guy, but I don't like being married. If you are an American, we slick, we slick don't fully understand what marriage is. We don't get that marriage is a death. We understand like the beautiful flowers and a beautiful bouquet and a beautiful dress, but we don't understand the dying to yourself, the giving up you. You can't just go and spend money willy-nilly. We that don't register. And so you got to understand we was birthed into a Jezebelic society, most of us. We were trained since what I know I can speak for myself. I can speak for me. When I was very little, I was trained to get my money because ain't gonna be no man there to depend on. So I better figure it out. I was built up with this independent Jezebelic mindset. And then when I got married, that mug was still talking. That mindset was still there. And I don't believe we fully prepare women to be brides. We tell our women to stay virgins. Jesus wants you to be a virgin. Yes, he do. Don't get it twisted. Stay your butt a virgin if you're a virgin. Stay abstinent. Keep yourself holy. But you need to be renewing your mind. Because if you don't, I'm telling you, you will regret being married. But if you're one of those people who already kind of regret You like, Faye, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I hate being married. I don't like this. This is not what I thought it was gonna be. It's okay. Most of us, if you're doing it the biblical way, hear me. If you're doing it the biblical way, you might get there. I ain't gonna lie. Because I did. Year 1, month 3. I was like, this ain't gonna get it. This ain't gonna get it. I want a refund because he ain't who he said it's gonna be. And this is ghetto. I'm not doing it. And so if this is where you at, I want you, number 1, to be honest with God. Don't fake it. Do not fake it. Do not suppress those emotions, okay? And I'm about to read the scripture real quick, okay? I got it on this side of the screen, so I'm gonna look this way a little bit. Okay, you can't heal what you hide, okay? You can't heal what's in hiding, okay? And Psalm 62:8 tells us to pour out our hearts before the Lord, before our God. And so, number 1, I want you to understand that you may feel resentment, overwhelmed, and you may feel like you are it's literally swallowing you up. You feel like, I'm losing every part of myself. I got pregnant and these kids, I'm breastfeeding, this husband needs stuff, everybody needs stuff. I'm serving everybody and I'm dying inside. I was there. I felt every part of that. And I didn't have nobody to turn to because everybody just kept telling me, Faye, change your perspective, or Faye, get over it. And they were right, but they just didn't give me the tools needed. Through suffering, I had to learn the tools needed in order to make it happen, okay? And so you may feel these things, but I want you to know that just because it's true, don't make it truth. You see what I'm saying? Just because it's TRUE does not make it TRUTH, the truth. So you got to take it before the Lord and before the word. You got to bring that word out, baby. What does the Bible got to say? What does God have to say? And then you got to understand that God is not frustrated or intimidated by what you feel, by what you have to say. And I know we've been raised up in churches where we're taught to have it all together. Look like you got it all together and you over there drowning. You over there dying inside. Bro, wake up. You got to be honest. And the number 1 place that we get to be honest is in a secret place. A lot of us wives, we get ready to get that wedding, had that beautiful wedding, and we got this thing in our head, these misconceptions, number 1, expectations, number 2, and we got this stuff laid out in our brains. And you don't realize that is not going to happen, bro. You do not realize the reality of a true marriage, what it looked like, what the sacrifice looked like. You have not counted the cost. It's not your fault. You just haven't been told the cost. There's a cost to be marriage, and the cost is death. In order to be that godly wife, that single, independent woman has to die. And she does not go down silently. Just saying, okay? And so God is the only one who can redeem from where you at, okay? So I want you to stop pretending. The first thing you gotta do, if you are in a space where you hate being a wife, you hate being married, you like, bro, this ghetto, this ratchet, not what I wanted, nix. Because it's so many women being deceived out of marriage because it's hard, because it costs, because it's uncomfortable, because it's a place of vulnerability and exposure. You have to come underneath a covering that's not a great covering at times. These are conversations that we'd be afraid to have. Because 1, you don't want to make your husband look weak or sound like a bad person because you love him. And 2, you feel embarrassed. And so we don't have a space to be a mess. And therefore, inside of us is a mess. And we're dying inside. We're hopeless. We don't know what to do. I can speak to this because I was there. I was right there. I had no one to go to because no one will be honest with me. No one will fully tell me the truth. Unless I have to pry it out of them. And I'm like, listen, I ain't got time to pry it out of you. I need you just to tell me. And so what I want you to start doing, woman of God, is know that God sees it. Elroy, God sees you. God knows you. Like, he knows you intimately. And so stop faking it with him and be honest. Say, God, I got married. This man sucked. Or if you're a man, because I got some men that watch me too. God, I married this woman and she's terrible. Be honest. And I even want you to start journaling. Journal out. What have I been afraid to say out before the Lord about my marriage? We got to get to a place of honesty and be real with God, because God is the only one who can redeem it. If you are in a space where you hate your marriage, God can redeem it. Because I am sick and tired of seeing Bible-believing Christians divorcing. Not for cheating, not for abuse, but because of irreconcilable differences, because we don't like each other. Guess what? In a kingdom marriage, there's no divorce. This is not a contract. This is a covenant. And so we made a covenant before the living God. That means no way out. That means we're going to figure this out. That means we're committed to this. When I was in that space, y'all, I'm just speaking from my heart. When I was in that space where I hated, baby, I said I made a big mistake. I said, how long is an annulment? And it had nothing to do with my husband. My husband is the most amazing, sweetest man ever. I have the best husband ever. But I was not ready for the cost of being a bride. In another video, we'll talk about the cost of being a bride. I wasn't ready for that. And it was heavy. It was costly. It first started off with giving my last name away. And I could feel the resistance when I was told I needed to change my last name. I'm like, but what? This ain't 1920? What you mean? Change my last name. Oh, I was challenged. And I was like, oh my God, I got work to do. Oh, I didn't realize the work, the cost, the price it would be for me to be a wife. I didn't realize that Jezebelic society, that Jezebelic culture that I was birthed in had to die. And it don't die easy, baby. I'll tell you right now, it don't die easy. Okay? And so I want you to, let me get back on topic. I want you to get honest, okay? Number 2, I want you to remember that, and some of you might not even remember. I'm going to tell you right now. Marriage is actually an assignment. Marriage is an assignment, okay? It's not a burden. Marriage is an assignment. You know that, right? And when you was looking at our googly eyes, like, oh, he's so cute. Oh, I want to marry him. Oh, give me that ring. Give me that ring. Give me that ring. When you was doing that, you didn't realize it was a kingdom mandate on that marriage, okay? And so you got in there thinking it's going to meet all my needs, meet all my expectations, it's going to be great. Not realizing we are married for holiness, okay? Marriage is about our holiness and making us more into the image of the living God. And for some of y'all already know, you got married because you want to do the booty. You want to have sex. You was just hot in the pants. And now you with this man or this woman, for some of y'all men. And you don't know, you trying to figure out what you did. You trying to figure out, I made a mistake, baby. If that's you, guess what? Guess what? God can still use that marriage. And that is your assignment. Being a wife carries a mantle. There's a mantle of wifedom that you don't realize when you get on that altar and you speak those vows before the living God and you sign your name on that contract, that marriage license. You don't realize you are actually entering into a covenant that's attached to an assignment. And so being a wife is an assignment, not a punishment. And I know the feminist agenda got us feeling like, oh my God, I don't want to get married. I want to travel, get my money, eat, da-da-da. That looks all good and dandy. That sounds great because that's superficial. Nothing wrong with it, don't get me wrong. But it's making, the society is making people think that God's ordained marriage system is slavery or a burden or awful. I'm here to tell you that's not the case. Not the case at all. But you got to reframe your mindset. You have to be willing to take on the mantle of Christ as a kingdom wife. Because being a kingdom wife requires a whole different level of thinking that most of us are not even taught. We don't even talk about these things, to be honest. You don't talk about them until you in them. You're like, oh, that makes sense. And so I'm here today just to make it real clear. Like, hey, being a wife is an assignment. It's not a burden, okay? It's not a punishment. It's an assignment. But you need to understand that you're doing it, if you're doing it on your own strength, if you're trying to be a wife in your own strength, you're doing it because I want to be a good wife. And I'm telling you right now, baby, you about to go to a prison. It's going to feel like a prison, straight up, okay? So Proverbs 14:1 says, a wise woman builds her house, but you can't build it if you bitter, okay? You cannot build your house if you're bitter and you see your house as a burden or a prison. Like, you got to ask God that, Lord, help my heart because I'm mad at my husband. I'm frustrated with him. He don't do nothing he said we're going to do. He act a fool and then get out in public and act like he got it all together. Whatever that is, you got to take it to the Lord. And you got to be honest, okay? And so you got to reconnect to the purpose. I want y'all to literally tonight ask God, why did you place me here? Lord, why did you allow me? Be it your perfect will, some of y'all imperfect will because you got married because you was hiding the pants. God, why am I here? What is the assignment? What is the mission on this marriage? I want you to really ask God that because he gonna answer, watch, okay? And you need to understand, what does God want you to do through this marriage? Because a lot of times, I don't be liking my husband. I be like, bro, getting on my nerve. And I love him, but oh my God, he can get on my nerve. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm pretty sure I get on his nerve too. But that's okay. That's literally okay. That's a part of being married. But we're not for a moment going to say this is not an assignment, not a kingdom assignment. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life like I'm in a prison, hating my life as a wife, hating my life as a mother, because I want to be selfish, because I don't want to go seek God and ask him, Lord, what would you have for me right here? And I really believe that some of us have been deceived. We're getting deceived right up out of our destiny because you don't realize that your husband is directly connected. God put y'all together because of kingdom. And because you're so focused on, oh my God, I hate this and I hate this and I hate this. You're so focused on that, you're missing the assignment. You're missing the destiny on this marriage, okay? And so you got to stop carrying what only grace can cover. Did you hear me? Stop carrying that. And you also got to learn how to forgive. I told one of my brides, I got this community called Bridehood Academy. And this bride, I told her, I said, listen, babe, marriage is about loving, honoring, covering, dwelling with each other according to understanding and knowledge. And you got to learn how to do is to forgive quickly. And to when you run out of grace, there's mercy. And when you run out of mercy, there's grace, okay? And so what am I saying? There's never a time where I won't forgive my husband. As long as he ain't cheating, ain't doing nothing like that right there, there's still time. There's still stuff at the table. And so when grace is when you don't get what you deserve. See what I'm saying? And mercy is when you get what you don't, when you don't get what you do deserve. And so we got to understand that if you cannot forgive people, if you cannot give mercy, and if you cannot give grace, you probably not meant to be a bride. I'm just going to be honest, okay? And so I want you to start declaring today. Write this down. I am graced for this, okay? I am not a victim of my marriage. I am a vessel in it. And Lord, I'm inviting you to use me in this marriage. I want you to start doing that, okay? And then lastly, if you hate your marriage, what I want you to understand is you need to seek support, not secrecy. Because secrecy is designed to isolate you, and the enemy will devour you in isolation. The enemy will begin to speak lies to you, and the serpent, just like the serpent spoke to Eve, the enemy will start speaking to you, and you will be deceived right up out of your marriage. And you'll be trying to figure out, oh, what happened? Oh my God. I'm listening to culture. I'm listening to the lion devil. I'm listening to my divorced mother and auntie and them. You listen to all these other voices, and you taking those voices and you letting it just really meditate on all those voices in secret. And you wondering why you hate your husband. You're wondering why nothing that he's doing is actually getting better. Everything he do is agitating you. It's probably because you in secrecy. Because you're not seeking honest support. You're seeking someone to co-sign on your buffoonery. Or you're seeking someone to come in agreement with you. No. I always tell my brides, listen, healing happens in community. When I feel like going crazy on my husband, because it happens. Okay? It happens. I ain't on here talking about I got it all together. I am 6 years into marriage. I am figuring it out. But these 6 years have been very sweet. We've had our moments. But those moments drawn us closer together. We've been closely knitted together because of this. It's because I seek support. What am I saying? What I'm saying is when you got an issue with your husband, you don't go talk to one of your little dumb little friends who been divorced 3 times, can't keep a man if she want to, and you ask her about your husband. That's called foolishness. You go find a wife, a mom, somebody that know where you at, that's been where you going, someone who has a marriage that looks like you want your marriage to look, and you go seek them for support. I know who to call when I'm going through my get through, okay? I'm not gonna call nobody who hate men. That's called stupidness. I'm about to call somebody who honors her husband, who respects him as unto God, not because he's so good. I'm about to call that person right there. Because that is what God calls us to do. Community. In order to get that healing, you got to expose it before the community. And it's not bashing your husband. I'm not saying go do a whole gossip circle. My husband so this. Nuh-uh. We rebuke that spirit, okay? We're not going to be gossiping about our husbands. We're not going to be cursing our husbands. We're not going to be doing none of that. We're going to be having honest conversation. And my beautiful friends, they'll let me share my little heart, vent a little bit, and be like, you better? Okay. Let me pray. Now go back to your man, girl. I love y'all. That's the friends you need. That's the community you need, baby. And so the enemy thrives in secrecy and silence. And so, sis, you need real spirit-led community, not just church friends, okay? But wives who will walk with you. Did you hear me? And so, and you need friends who willing to war with you in prayer, baby. We be praying. I tell people all the time, you ain't ready to be no wife unless you ready to carry that mantle of prayer. Unless you a real prayer warrior out here, you are not ready to be nobody's wife. You can't be a wife without warring in prayer, period. If you're trying to do this on your own, welcome to jail. Welcome to looking crazy. Welcome to hating your husband and hating your life and hating your kids. Welcome to almost divorce court. I'm telling you right now, you cannot be a biblical wife without prayer. If you don't have no secret place, you ain't got no place at all. You're going to be looking like a crazy person out there, okay? And so you need Titus 2 women in your life. And something that really made me really sad, one of my good friends who talked about it, it's very rare that we find Titus 2 women now. We actually realized that we are the new Titus 2 women because we like the aunties now. We like, ooh, I'm 36. I'm your auntie now. And so we're trying to do that, which is why I created Crowned Mentorship. And so if you want to be mentored, held accountable with a spirit-led community, join Crowned Mentorship. That's what we're here for. I love you. Okay. It's for women only. Okay. My husband has Titus 2 men. He helps men, but I'm talking to the girls. Okay. Let's keep going. You also need therapy and mentorship. You got to understand that therapy and mentorship is not weakness. It's wisdom. Here's a side note. Most wives don't realize this, but your secret power, how you going to get through your marriage, is prayer and meekness. What is meekness? Power under control. Okay? And I'm not speaking for all marriages because some marriages could not have no problems at all. But most marriages with a kingdom mandate will be under attack. They will suffer attacks. They will suffer moments when you feel like, I just want to give up. I hate my husband. I hate this right here. But I'm here to tell you, it's okay. It's okay. Get up, dust yourself off. Go get your friends to pray for you, help you get your head together, and let's do this thing. Because marriage is not a Disney Channel movie. And marriage is also not disposable. We don't just take our marriage and throw it to the side. Oh, irreconcilable differences. No. We pray our marriages through. We take them before the Lord and allow the Lord to be magnified in our marriage. Understand? And so you cannot allow pride or performance to block your breakthrough. Most of us fail to get help, and we live in secrecy and silence because we have a performance-based love. We literally, some of us are birthed into that since you were a kid. You were love based on performance, not with this, baby. You got to go get that help, baby. And so, to women who secretly hate being a wife, you're not alone, okay? But you are also not stuck. Did you hear me? You're not alone, but you're not stuck. God can breathe life into those dry bones, okay? Even dead bones, okay? Even those who you feel like it's overweight. God can fix it, okay? He's not asking you to perform, but just to surrender to the Lord. So God's asking you, if you're watching this video, surrender and let him love you back into the purpose, restore the joy of your covenant, and remind you that you are crowned for this. God built you to be this wife. God positioned you to be this wife. And so thank y'all so much for just watching this episode. And if this episode blessed you, okay, I want you to leave a review, to tag me, and to put a comment in the bottom. Also subscribe and share with a friend, because I'm all about, we're going to build kingdom homes, okay? We're not letting the devil continue to deceive us out of our marriages. No. We are going to do what God's called us to do, no matter what comes. And God didn't call you to marriage for it to be a prison. He called you to marriage because you are capable, because he's raising up a beautiful, strong family. And I believe that God's calling women to return back to their seat of influence in the home. He's calling a whole new army of Proverbs 31 women who will step forward and be the women, the wives, the moms, the entrepreneurs that God created you to be. And that is you. Welcome to Crowned Mentorship. I love y'all. I will see y'all next week. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.